Hi, it's Christina again, and I'm here to talk to you about plotting versus pantsing. So, if you haven't heard these terms before, I will explain them to you. What is a plotter and what is a pantser, which are the most unattractive names I've ever heard of. But I'll explain it. So, plotter is somebody who outlines a novel. Right before they start it. They'll have the idea and then they'll sit down and they'll do a little outline. It should be short outline. It should not exceed a page. And it should really break down the essentials of the book. That means what's going on in the beginning of the novel, who's the protagonist, what's their goal, what's the overall conflict, what's the external situation where that conflict is kind of cultivated or comes from. What might be the ultimate resolution to that conflict, and what are the obstacles that stops that person or prolongs that person from getting to the ultimate, resolution? Does that resolution match their goal? That's a good thing to figure out too in your outline. Most importantly, or one of the most important things as well, is to think about what is the character arc of that person, what happens, how do they change from the beginning of the novel to the end, and then what happens at the end of the novel. Something that you might want to also include is what they might sacrifice in terms of getting to the end of that novel. So that is a simple outline. So that's how, a person will plot. So they would do the outline, and then they might go a little bit further into a scene breakdown, which means that they, list every single scene that they're going to have within that novel, or at least a majority of the scenes that they're going to have. So what I do is I outline my novel, I do that little outline, I do the scene breakdown where I write the name or just like a little title for the scene, the characters, the setting, and then a very brief description. It should be no more than 2 to 3 sentences. And then I'll try, either as I'm writing the novel or afterwards, I will try to divide those scenes up into chapters based on how the pacing goes and that sort of thing. So that's how you plot your novel. Notice how I don't mention anything about writing character profiles or any of that crap. I personally am not a big fan at all of doing the extra work of, creating character profiles and setting profiles and blibbity blue. I just found that it ate up a lot of my time, which should have been dedicated to writing. I find that my character develops as I gives them things to do. That's the reason why I have my outline and my scene breakdown. There are things for them to do, so they just have to do it. And based on what I want out of my story, they'll get there, they'll make those decisions, and from there I can start to understand my character. And of course I'm going to go back and I'm going to reread the story and revise it. So as I'm reading it and as I'm understanding my character, that's how the character profile comes out. If you're writing more than one story, or if you have a whole cast of characters you're working on, then yeah, after your first book, you might want to start just keeping tabs on different people, because maybe you have a supporting character or somebody that's not too important in the first book that you want to focus now on in the second. I have that happening, but again, quite honestly, what I just do is I just take notes and just keep writing. Always keep writing, okay? Planning is not writing. Planning is planning. Plotting is plotting. Pantsing is when you have an idea and you just start writing the story. It's from the seat of your own pants. You just go for it. Some people are really good at it. They will go from beginning to middle to end. They'll write the entire story and then they'll just go through it and revise. It's very simple. There's no outlines involved or anything of that nature. So that is a basic definition of a plotter versus a planner. Oh no, a plotter versus a pantser. The plotter just, is doing a little bit more prep work, whereas the pantser is just going with it and just going right immediately into the task of writing. The only difference is that the plotter's planning a little bit and doing a little bit more preparation beforehand, but even then it's done in a very short amount of time For me, I give myself a week at the very most to plot, and then I am done. So that's it. And I will talk a little bit more about, are you a plotter or are you pantser, or are you both, in the next video. So stay tuned.